Welcome to your Monday edition of FreightWaves Now. We got Zach Strickland talking to the brokers on this first Monday back in December. But first, let's hear from Nick Austin with today's weather update.
Welcome to FreightWaves Weather, your Monday edition. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday. I know the weather did not cooperate for a lot of drivers, not only road cargo on surface, but also air cargo. The weather today, the focus is going to be on the northeastern United States. That's where we're going to see really a lot of the messiest weather today. We're talking about snow, rain, some freezing rain, and even some areas of sleet. So just a really big wintry mess across the Northeast. This includes a lot of the I-95 corridor, I-64 corridor, from the southern Appalachians all the way to upstate New York, Philly, New York City, Boston, all the way up into Maine today. So it's just going to be one big mess. Already ground delays with flights coming into the Philadelphia International Airport, Tetersboro Airport in New Jersey, and I suspect there'll be more delays as we go through the day. The snow will get a lot heavier later today and through the nighttime, especially for areas just along and west of I-95, especially the interior portions of the Northeast and New England. Some of the highest elevations could see a foot of snow or more from today through the nighttime and into early Tuesday. So that's where the messiest weather and most of the delays are going to be as far as air cargo, problems at the airports, and on a lot of the roads, including some stretches of the interstates through the Northeast. Next, we're going to go out west where they got slammed earlier in the Thanksgiving week by a lot of snow, and there's more snow coming back to the Sierra Nevada today, northern and eastern California, Cascades in Oregon, other parts of the northern Rockies, Idaho, and parts of Wyoming and Montana as well. But it's probably going to be the heaviest through the Sierra and up into the Cascades of Oregon. So this is mostly east of Interstate 5, but a lot of US and other secondary roads in these areas through a lot of the mountain passes are really going to be trouble today with several more inches or even a foot of snow in some areas. And not only out west, but in the Northeast too, the winds could be strong enough at times to produce blowing snow and possibly some really low visibilities and whiteout conditions here and there. Last, we're going to go out into the Pacific Ocean. That is the Western Pacific, the Philippines right now, and this is Typhoon Kamuri. Right now, the winds are at 135 miles per hour. This thing's been getting a lot stronger over the past few days. It's about to make landfall in the eastern Philippines. It'll cross over and hit areas just south of Manila heading into the day tomorrow once it crosses that country. And it's still going to be pretty strong when it hits just south of Manila. Some ports in this area as well. You can see with one of our new features on sonar, it can locate container ships that are out over the water too. And the area right here where this storm is about to hit, the ships have cleared out. They're mostly on the other side of the Philippines, but some of those ships will probably be clearing out over the next 24 hours as the storm will be heading to the other side of the country here by about this time tomorrow. That's a look at your weather for your Monday. Be sure to check out all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Have a great day and be careful out there.
Welcome to your Monday Carrier Update, sponsored by PowerFleet. My name's Kyle Cunningham. Hope you had a fantastic holiday. As we come back into the work week from the holiday, you can see here that the Blue Mountain, your outbound tender volume for the USA, still remains soft, still remains low from over the weekend. Now, take into account, this is yesterday's data being reported, not a lot of freight moving on the Sunday after the Thanksgiving holiday. But if you take a look at last year's seasonality, you can see as they come down, they come right back up. So anticipate another rise back up in terms of outbound tender volumes coming up in the USA. Let's take a look at outbound rejections in conjunction. You can see here huge runs up, actually some of the highest outbound rejection levels we've seen since all the way back pre-March of this year. You can see that as they start to run up in conjunction, they tend to fall right back down in conjunction. So let's see what happens with the outbound volumes over the next week. The outbound rejections hopefully continue to climb leading into the holiday season, making your assets that much more valuable. Let's take a look at outbound rejections across the country. You can see here this is a weekly change, anything over 10%, anything favoring the carriers, a weekly change over 10%. Quincy, Illinois coming in huge, up 210% from this point last week to 45% outbound tender rejects, indicating that almost 1 out of every 2 contracted freight tenders in that market is being rejected, indicating for you, if you have assets anywhere near Quincy, understand there's going to be better opportunities out there for you. Let's take a look at Quincy and see what's going on, trying to find any sort of spurious or real connection in regards to outbound volumes and outbound rejections. See, it's pretty soft, under 20% most of the time, but this yellow line here running way up before the holiday, coming back down, but as it stands, 45.69%. Pretty favorable to you, the carrier. Let's look at a head haul map across the country, a sea of red. A lot of blue in the normal zones, but middle of the country, deep dark red, indicating the brokers are going to have the favor in that one. Out in the northeast as well, Atlanta today looking pretty soft. You might want to check Chattanooga or down to Savannah as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching your carrier update on this Monday, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
The comprehensive logistics offerings from PowerFleet cover in-cab ELD, fleet management, trailer tracking, cargo monitoring, and tracking other assets such as chassis and intermodal containers. Power up your operations with PowerFleet.
Hey everyone, and welcome to your Monday brokerage update. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Let's go ahead and dive into what the market's doing today. So outbound tender rejections, we peaked out at 7.8% over the holiday. So rejection rates were pretty strong throughout Thanksgiving. Really not, that impressive still, but the biggest number that we've seen since early part of the year. So early February, when we were still coming down out of that hot 2018 market, but still good news for a lot of people is that they're going to be able to get a lot higher margin over the Thanksgiving holiday. So moving on, let's see what the biggest markets are in the country. We've got St. Louis, Missouri, right here, Rock Island. This area has had a lot of instability over the last month or so, a lot of increasing rejection rates. As I've mentioned before, the taller the market, the more volume is present in that market. So you want to pay attention to any market here that's tall and dark blue. That means increasing rejection rates, increasing rates in that area, decreasing capacity. The Pacific Northwest continues to be a troublesome area, especially out in this rural area where you have a lot of apples, potatoes, Christmas trees, you name it. Think about the Northwest, misty rains, produce, all that kind of stuff, causing a lot of trouble out there still in Pendleton area, Oregon. So the St. Louis market, looking at these rejection rates, you see the dry van tender rejections are the reason that you're seeing a lot of these spiking rejections. So 16.09%, some of the highest values of the year out of St. Louis, Missouri. So make sure that you cover all your freight out of there. Also, if you are checking those spot boards, go ahead and charge a little bit extra if you're trying to cover anything out of the St. Louis market today. A lot of mid-haul rejections. So anything between about 250 miles and 500 miles continue to be trouble for this area. So make sure that you're covering all that freight first thing this morning. Also, moving on, I want to cover the biggest markets in the country just to show a big overview of what we're dealing with in some of the largest markets. Dallas, Atlanta, Columbus, Harrisburg, Los Angeles, Ontario. All of these are the top 10 biggest markets in the country in terms of outbound volumes. The volumes themselves starting to come back down after a big Thanksgiving push. So make sure that you're covering those loads out of there, but you're still not going to see that decreasing capacity in these larger markets. Tender rejection rates did increase out of Dallas, however. So make sure that anything out of Dallas today is your priority in your bigger markets. And that'll do it for today's FreightWaves Now. Make sure to subscribe to us on all our social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And if you haven't already, make sure to download the FreightWaves TV app.